Singh Garewal, degree in automotive engineering, and I used to work in automotive industry in Detroit, Michigan. Then Joe Sandhu is a mathematics master degree there. He's also teaching area, and he's serving our community in Riverside there. And Arun Vamitra, businessman, entrepreneur, a politician, and Bajinder Sidhu, he's IBM engineer, and he has some businesses here. Sudarshan Kapoorji, professor, lot of experience in teaching area, and he's highly involved in our communities also. Amrik Sidhuji, aerospace engineer, he's also very highly involved in servicing our community, and he's also involved in press media also. Peshora Singh Dhillon, he's a architect engineer and poet and a writer. Pajan Samra, he is a master in economics, and he is also farmer in called Okra King. Puneet Ahluwalia, this is our guest here, and let me, Puneet start yourself. Only 1 minute, not more than that. Just introduce yourself, please.
Gary Paji, thank you for sharing the group of eclectic friends of yours. Mera sabnu sat sri akal. My name is Puneet Ahluwalia. I'm right now running for Lieutenant Governor of Virginia. I've been active in the Republican Party for over 20 years and resident in the US since 30 years. Small business, hardworking, and I felt the direction of our state was going in the wrong direction. So I felt it was important somebody to have a voice and play an important integral role in the leadership. Hence the reason I decided to run for office, and I've been doing it since last year. I launched my Proud American PAC first, and then on September 25th, I launched my campaign. But the momentum came after January 20th, when the elections were over and we had a new regime in DC. So I look forward to engaging with you, Ji, in a robust conversation which matters to us. I'm a proud Sikh, but more importantly, I'm a proud American. So I look forward to getting to know you all personally. It's an honor and it's a pleasure.
Okay.
I wish I was it would have been such a beautiful thing. Sitting in a clubhouse and chatting with friends. But anyway, we'll do the Zoom clubhouse now. With that, Gary Paji, thank you again for having me.
NRIs debate the problem of gun violence and mass shootings, especially target Asians. The impact of mass shooting on gun policy. Guns are not going away any place. There is no magic solution. Polls show that NRIs blame racism, gun laws for mass shooting. NRIs are divided on who is responsible for mass shooting. Senate Republicans argue that Black Lives Matter and defund the police. And let me start that everybody has a 2 minutes there first, then we continue 1 minute to 1 minute like that. Let me the Puneet Ahluwalia ji, you start that from the stop there. Thank you.
Thank you, Gary Paji. This is a very important question. I'm a strong believer of Second Amendment, and I think it comes from my own belief in the Sikhism. Because the 5 tenets is to have the sword, which is to remind us to be righteous, at the same time protect our community and our family. And same thing, I'm a firm believer of a constitution, which is important, that protects our Second Amendment. And the Second Amendment also makes sure that we also have the First Amendment, which is safe and sacred, which is our free speech and a right of religious freedom. And why this has become so important in the last few years, because we have seen our country moving towards socialism. And in socialism, if you do not have your Second Amendment right, you become a subject. You're no more a citizen. And that's my firm belief. Are we a divided nation? Yes. But can that be fixed? Of course that can be fixed, because I believe that conversation between two intelligent people can happen, or people and communities can happen. But I think the biggest person to blame on this is the media, which finds it important to polarize it, and what leads or what bleeds leads. So it's important to have these important discussions within the intellectual capital that is existing in the large Sikh community, the Indian American community, or the diaspora, because we have come from these communities where the race politics, divisive politics, identity politics always has a very slippery slope. And we have seen on numerous occasions throughout the world that it leads to a disaster. We have seen what happened to the Jews in Nazi Germany. We have seen what happened in the Rwanda crisis. And I have also spoken very loudly on what happened to the Sikhs in 1984 riots. So I speak from my personal experience why Second Amendment is important. And I look forward to engaging with everyone. Thank you, Ji.
Okay. And now let me go to Arun. Arun ji, thoda sa please introduce yourself, half minute. Then also continue the answer for this.
Thank you, Gary Singh ji, for this opportunity. Folks, it's a pleasure to meet you again. I'm an aerospace engineer, worked for Northrop Grumman, professor at UCLA, taught engineering there, and got into the cell phone business when the revolution started around 87, 88. Made a few shillings, and now I'm an investor. Basically, racism is institutionalized in American system. I believe in that. I agree with that. Just like we have the Kirpans in our religion. However, we don't need assault weapons. You don't need AK-47s and all to defend yourself. And I also believe that we got to have a license to carry a weapon. That kind of limits violence and all. So that has to be done. So uh, crime against Asian Americans, we got to be aware of it, and we got to start and look into it. Then the other issue, burning issue, is voting rights. We got to have, we go down, we travel, we need to have ID. Same thing for voting, which is our right, and that's what we all strive to get: good politicians, good leaders. Hopefully, Puneet will be a lieutenant governor one day with all help and support. So we do need to have a passport to identify. And the third thing is immigration. These three things are heart burning that I think are kind of interrelated. People leave their countries to come into it. Not that they're happy, they want to be with their families. I don't know if you saw today Fareed Zakaria's thing. Gary, I think I sent you that. I hope you share with everybody that his mom passed away in India and he could not go see her. So we leave our countries because of violence or whatever happens. That's why we leave. The second thing is the economic conditions which are there. And so we come down over here to these countries. And I think legal immigration is what should be the call of the day. But anyway, my time is up. I can talk.
Yeah,
Being a politician,
okay.
I can talk all night, but I want to give you guys to share your
We
views.
will come back again. Sudarshan Kapoor, please.
First of all, thank you very much including me again in the conversation. And it's wonderful to see all the brothers actually participating in the important topic. My concern is that the hate violence and the hate crimes have been increasing for quite some time against the Asians in this country. Hate violence and hate crimes are not actually a new phenomena. This hate violence has been, or I should say, the prejudice and the bias against the Asians has been actually part of our history. I was looking at some of the facts and figures here. At present, we have, according to an organization known as API, which is Association of Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders, they have come up with a figure that 3,800 incidents of hate violence and hate crimes have taken place during the last year. And these are the ones that have been reported. And the estimate is that probably there are more than 3,800 because many of our Asians do not report. Underreporting is another problem actually, that we do not have any kind of a encouragement on the part of Asian. It is because of our culture or what, we just keep quiet and we don't report actually. So the reported incidents, 3,800 is a very alarming figure against the Asian. It doesn't matter whether it is Japanese or Chinese or Sikhs or Hindus. So all Asians actually are experiencing this thing in this country. So the recent shooting in Atlanta and also now in Indianapolis has really shocked the nation and shocked our conscience also like that. I think we need to condemn the violence that is taking place, and we need to join hands with other groups actually also that are protesting, that are raising voice against this kind of a violence. We need to do that. And we also need to make a demand that the investigation should take place in this Indianapolis shooting if there is any bias against the Sikh community is involved. Because in that center of the Fed Up, there was about 80% or a very large number of Sikhs are working over there. So is there any kind of a bias factor also involved into this investigation? We should actually demand for that. And the other thing actually is recently and an act has been passed by the House of Commons, lower house as well as the Senate, and that is a COVID-19 Hate Crimes Act. We should all support that and be familiar with actually this has been just passed very recently, maybe within the last couple of days. So it's the COVID-19 Hate Crimes Act. It was led by Grace Meng. She is a senator from Hawaii, I think. And there was another Asian leader who actually were involved at the House of Commons and the lower house. So we need to support some of these efforts and see that our community does not become the target. In Fresno, we have experienced this xenophobic hate violence. It is basically xenophobia that we are experiencing at present in our community or in this country.
Mhm.
And that is actually reflection of racism that has been going on for quite some time in this country, and we should not keep quiet and raise our voice wherever we can. In Fresno, recently, the City Hall here has passed a resolution condemning the violence, and also they have taken initiative to appoint a community affairs officer to address the problems and issues affecting the Asians, which is a very good initiative. Our Congressman Jim Costa also convened a forum where he has encouraged leaders of the Asian community to participate. I was one of them also.
Okay.
And what actually efforts are going on that we need to be aware of it, and we should continue raising our voice that this kind of crimes are not acceptable.
Okay. Thank you. Harbhajan Samra.
And it's sorry to hear about all these hate crimes, but they are kind of more administrative issues. We can have all the arms by under Second Amendment. We can have them, but who carries it in the Federal Express Office? Who carries outside? We are not ready for that. Either you have to carry openly over there, but those people, whoever do the shootings, they are not very intelligent people. Most of them, they are mentally retarded, and they should have some history and with the police, with the administration, and those kind of people, they should be specially treated. So if they have something in their mind, ever they threat somebody, they can give someday practical shape to it. So more of it with the administration, and secondly, more education from the schools to the people that where they are to college, maybe 40-50% make. So there should be more education about the communities. We are Asians. Actually, America is made of every community. That's what it makes America. So America cannot be of one color. So there should be some education in the schools from the beginning that why Asians are here, why other colors are over here, because they come by law, they come legally. Our society, our economy need them. If those people have education from the very beginning, there will be harmony in the community. On the other hand, politicians, we are lucky over here. They are not that much dividing people on the basis of color, religion, or Asian, or whatever, like we have seen in India, in our own country. If they don't have any economic plan, they have planned to divide or get votes on the basis of the religion, on the basis of so many things. But here in America, we are lucky that way. The only thing is that there are only few people, they need to be treated. So there is no such kind of incidents. So, and we have to give more education to the people too, as much as we can individually, personally. Like I was yesterday with somebody, and he was like having different views. I show him on the internet Langar Pratha and the people, because we got the flight late over there in Mexico, 5 hours. So there is no food over there, small airport. So I was talking to him. First, I made him to read while we were sitting that Langar Pratha in Sikhism. So he read it. So then he said, wow, it's so good. I said, now if we were in India in the remote area, we should have called some Gurdwara near, and somebody should have prepared langar and at least feed the two. So on the other hand, to carry weapons, okay, we can carry it, but you don't know where you don't have it happens over there. So most of the time those weapons should be out of the hands of some way, their mental evaluation of the people who have them. And parents more responsible for young kids how to hide their weapons from the kids so it does not go in their hands.
Okay, Harpajan, I'm coming back. Peshawar Singh ji, let me concentrate mass shooting, gun policy, or dividing community. Why it happening? Something like that, please. Thank you.
I think racial attacks or hate crimes are not new. What is new is the mass shootings with the assault rifles, which are meant for the military use. If you go back to the history, these racial attacks has been since, if you talk about your own community, in the late 19th century and the early 20th century, when first the Chinese and then the Japanese were treated the same way. Our ancestors who eventually ended up making a Ghadar party were the people who were subjected to the same kind of racial attacks. But the difference now is that in those days it was verbal abuse. They used to call them dirty Hindus, go back, this and that, or there were just physical attacks. But now, of course, this hate crime, what you see is a mass shooting. That is entirely a different thing. What I wonder is really what goes through the head of these people to start to go and shoot so many people, as many as they can. That is their mission when they get out to do it. And in most cases, it appears to me that the shooters still believe on the white empowerment that was given years back.
Joe Sandhu, thank you. God bless you. Joe Sandhu.
Well, America is a nation of immigrants.
Yeah, right. Good.
It is not any race that not equally treated. I think in a law, every religion and every law says all humans are equally treated throughout the world, no matter where you live. But things been growing more seriously in the United States. But recently I saw at Indianapolis, 4 Sikh community members were killed. It was killed by a Sikh-minded people who hates, other races. And every Sikh is concerned why it happened to the Sikhs. But in this community, there are very, very sick people. They are prejudiced and they are, emotionally negative, and they don't think what's right or wrong. They think these people came from other countries and they want to take over this country. Hate crime have reached at the peak. This is a responsibility of FBI, law enforcement, and all the communities, organizations to sit together and come up some kind of compromise what to do with.
A lot of people say that Joe Biden is dividing the country. People say that Trump was dividing last 4 years. He's the worst person in the world. Everybody has a different view. There's a big fight going on. We have to learn too. Border, people are coming, 2,000 people, 5,000 people, 1,000 people. He's giving him arrangement. This is tax money, my money. Why illegal people are coming? Lot of frustration. Republican has a frustration too.
Okay, it's my turn, I guess. I will take a moment to congratulate Puneetji because in our community, very few people enter the politics. So I find it is very important for our people, Arun and Puneet both. You know, we really thank you for taking this opportunity to get into the politics. That's where the decisions are made, and we need our people up there. There is a theory being propagated into the mainstream Americans saying all these people coming from outside are replacing us. So this kind of a thing, it's also our responsibility when the people come into the community for the votes, we should ask these pointed questions that we want America united and we want prosperity for everybody, not for few. So that's the part citizens should play. Then the second part is the government part, where, you know, I've seen that when the young people in the last year in North Carolina, Florida, everywhere they attack the African American church, Jewish church, a Sikh Gurdwara in Milwaukee, and now this big factory. So what's happening? There is a trend in there. You see, usually the attacker comes with a weapon and the people are immigrants or ethnic. So there is a trend, you can see that. So government has a role that when they issue a license, they need to have evaluation of that person's character. Because, you know, a young person, if they get mad, even the teenagers, if they get mad, first thing they go for a weapon because they want to get even. So therefore, there has to be a mental evaluation, a psychoanalysis of people who are getting the license. We get so much big test for the getting a car license, but we should have a better evaluation for people who get that. I'm not against the weapons because I love to have weapons because everybody should have weapons because police can't be everywhere. You should defend yourself. But on the other hand, we have to have a qualified people who have the weapons. And the follow-up is every weapon should have a traceability. Traceability is used in the, you know, in technical terms, is that each part and each weapon should be traceable to some serial number, which factory it was made, where it was sold, who bought it, when it was bought. There should be a national registry. So every crime should have that inquiry that where the weapon came from. If it came from the parents, and they should be responsible. So these are the two issues. I think if we keep that control and the political control on the rhetoric, I think there could be a solution for that. May not be a solution, but somewhere close to that, what we are looking for.
People over here, you know, so all those good things about us, we need to share with the community, with the people.